Corsica is what we are doing for whatever episode this is.
The Rally of 10,000 Corners, Corsica has more bends than any other WRC event. The roads that cross the Mediterranean island often appear to be no more than a chain of blind bends linked together. The surface is rough asphalt that's punishing on the tyres and sometimes on the drivers. There are also sheer mountain drops and slippery gravel. Corsica adds up to a challenge for cars and drivers.
So let's get down to our setup tweaks. Because one thing I can say about Corsica so far, it has been stressful. And I feel like at this point, there's not really much else I can do. I'm gonna make the gears a little shorter. Brakes will go hard, hard suspension, full toe out, lower ride height, soft tyres, and fast power steering. God damn it all.
Left 3, 100, left 2, into right 2, and left 2, 50, left 3, over crest, 70, right 2.
And I'm down in P16.
Left 3, into right 4, and left 2, 100, long right 4.
Well,
150, left
hopefully my
3,
car is not as prone to flipping as it was
200,
before,
long hairpin left,
because I have not gone maximum downforce on the ride height. Okay, I think my car is better now, because I did not go maximum downforce, because that's probably what's been causing my car to flip. It's making my car prone to the blowover, but that seems to be what it is. Although sometimes blowovers just happen, but I am hopeful in saying this, even compromise of having the ride height relatively low, but not too low. Will hopefully make all the difference. You know what, I'm just going to finish wherever I finish for this first stage. I really don't care if I win or not. I just want to get out of day one with the fact that I have made some progress. And that's a wall. And I costed myself at least 3 seconds. But at least I was 4th. Okay. I'm not going to say the results because I don't feel like they really matter until we get past day 1. Then it's basically from that point onwards when I can really look at the results and think about it. And yes, taking a sip from my bottle because I have to. And also, it's raining. I feel like it might have been just the amount of drag I was getting from the downforce that was causing my car to flip over on those previous attempts where my car just would not stay balanced. I think it might be because my car had too much drag. And that was basically what caused me to have all those problems.
70 hairpin left, caution rocks outside, 100 long right, forward tight.
But anyway, we'll see what happens.
150 left, 2.
If I can just stay on the road for this one,
opens into right,
then maybe I'll have a shot at getting through this with points.
100 left, 5 into right, 3, 100 left.
But I've still got a long ass way to go before I can really go anywhere else.
100 right, 4 over crest. 150 right, 4
And that's aside from everything else. Okay.
150 left, 5
Well,
into
good thing I
right,
was
150
able
left,
to keep up my self-awareness.
100 left, 6. 70
Okay.
right, 3 opens into long right.
Okay, my
2.
pace is currently good, but
150 left, 5.
I really need to try and make
70
sure
right,
that
caution over crest.
I can somehow get through this with not only my arms and legs
100
intact,
hairpin left, caution
but
over
also
crest.
my car intact
70
as well.
right, 6 over crest. 100 left, 5 over crest.
Because that is going to be
100
crucial.
right, 4 opens into long right, 3.
Okay.
150 right, 5 into left, forward. 150 right, forward.
Really don't want to get caught out by that wall. And
70 hairpin left. 100
not really
right,
putting up
2.
too much pace, but still putting up enough pace to at least keep myself alive.
150 left, 6.
Which at this time is probably the best I can ask for. So maybe this time my set of compromise has managed to pay off. Although considering how far behind I was when I actually did a completed attempt, if I was going to score points, I needed to make sure that I did not pull up a run as shitty as what that stage 3 run was before. I mean, it was just awful with the way it played out.
150 left, 3.
Okay.
100 right, 4 opens.
No, I am managing to at least hold on
150
to 4th at
right,
the moment,
3.
which shows for now that
Left, 2 tightens.
I am seeming to more or less do what I am supposed to do.
200 right, 4 into left, 5. 200
And a
over
little
crest,
dab of the
into
brakes
right,
there.
3.
And how far off am I going to
150 left, 3 and finish.
be? Okay. Just up the road. How far off is it? Okay. Less than 10 seconds and I got P3. Now we gotta get through. Oh, I set a 9.69 behind Panizzi. Nice. Francois Delacour 4th, Richard Burns 5th, and Stig Blomqvist in P6. And one of the Peugeots is out. Depends on knowing if this is actually going to count towards the overall performance, of course. There's every opportunity for everything to go to shit. So before I do this, I'm gonna go take a pee, and then we'll get on with this, and maybe I'll have my concentration back. Okay, now we get on with stage 3. And I also take a sip of water from my cup. This is probably not going to go too well, but I'm at least hoping I can manage to stay on the road for pretty much the entire stage.
1, left 2, 50, right 5, into left 3, 100, left 1, 70,
I really
right
hope
5, 100,
that this does
left 2,
somehow
into right
manage
3, 100, left 5,
to be where
100,
I realistically
right 3,
put the day 1 run
100,
together.
left 4, and
I am
left 2,
seriously hoping
150, right 4,
that this is where I actually get it done.
right 5, 100, left 4, into right 4, and left
I feel
5,
like this is probably the damage limitation stage,
70,
and yet because I
left 2,
was
into
so
right
far
3,
behind
100,
the
left
leaders
2, into right 3,
when I actually finished the
150, left
stage,
5,
I decided
right 3,
I needed to improve my time,
30, left
because
3,
I
into
was
right 5,
way
100,
off
long
with all
left
the mistakes
3,
I
over
made.
crest, opens,
I was at least 30 seconds off
150,
the
right
top
4,
6, and that for me is, well,
50,
just downright
right 2, into left
awful.
4, and right 5, 100, right 4, into
Basically,
left
I
3,
did finish last.
100, right 5,
And I feel like
100,
because this is
left
just
2,
as much of a
and
mental
left 3,
test as it is a physical test,
150, left 4, into
I have to
right
basically
3,
do whatever it takes
100, left
to mitigate the
4, into
damage.
right 4, opens, over crest,
And I think since my car is not as hammered down to the ground as it was before, I think I am actually having a better shot of controlling my car on these bumpy mountain roads. I feel like there might just be a shot of me actually putting it together this time, if I can just somehow stay on the road long enough. Because this is not the sort of stage where you can afford mistakes. And even in the rain, I am glad to say there is at least some sunshine. Some shades of sun poking out from the rain clouds in certain areas.
70, dip into right 2 and left 3.
Okay,
70,
you know what?
right 1,
Considering how much worse that could have been, I will gladly take that. And I actually move up into P2. Oh god. Okay. Stay on the road, stay on the road, stay on the road. Okay. I stayed on the road, bitch. You ain't stopping me this time. If I can keep my car with all 4 wheels on the road. Or basically 3 of 4 wheels on the road. If possible.
150 left 5 over crest into right 5.
Okay. Alright.
100 left 2.
Okay. That's it.
70,
Keep it
hairpin
going, keep
right.
it going, keep it going, keep it going. Okay.
70 hairpin
Alright.
left.
We're doing really good at the
100
moment.
hairpin right.
Just gotta hope it stays this way. If I can keep my car on the road,
70
then I
left.
should be in position to take this bull by the horns.
200
I
left 4 into right 4.
I certainly hope I can take this bull by the horns, because it's taken me by the horns
70
enough
left
times.
4 into right 4.
Considering
150 left
just how bad I
3.
was initially,
70
this
left
feels like a
2
much
into
more
right 5.
improved
70
run
left 3 into right
compared of course to the runs I have had before.
4 into right 3, 150 long left, 4 into right 2, 150 left, 4 into hairpin right,
Okay.
150 left, 4 into right 6,
Alright. Come on.
100 left,
Okay.
5 into right 4,
Still going for now. And still
100 left,
keeping my
6
car
into
intact,
right 6,
which is a rarity.
100 left, 2 into right 3,
I'm also running well,
200
which
over crest
surprises-
into long
which
hairpin left,
surprises me also.
150 right 5 over crest
Yeah, I had to
into
brake
left
there
5,
because that was a crust. And I could not see what was beyond the corner.
100 left 2
I had
into
to be
right 5,
cautious in that one corner there.
150 over crest into
I really do
right
hope
1,
it's not going to be like this every day where
100 left 2
I basically
into
have to
right
struggle on the
4,
first day and
70
then
left,
hope for
5
better
into
things on the
right
other 2
5,
days.
100 left
I hope that doesn't turn out to be the case. And also, I now move up into
4,
P2.
150 left 2 into right
So,
6,
if I can actually
150 right 4
finish
into
running the
left
stage the way I am at the moment, then
100 right 4 into left,
this might just be the run.
100 long right 5 into left,
Of course, we
5
still
over
have
crest.
at least another minute. Sorry about that. These coughs
150
just
right 2 into
seemingly
left,
keep
5,
popping up out of
100
nowhere,
left,
and there's
5
almost
into
nothing I
right
can do
3
about them,
and left 5,
except use the
70
medications I
right
already
6,
have to try and
70 right 5 into left 4 over crest,
ease the
100
pain.
right 4,
But yeah, up to this point,
30 left 2
I've actually
into
ran
right 2,
surprisingly
30
well
left
compared to
4
before.
into right 2 over crest into left 3 and right 4,
Again, that was
100 right 6,
an overhead brow,
70
so
left 6 into right 5 over crest, 70 left 4 and
kind of
right
have to step on the brakes for those things.
100 left 2 into
Otherwise,
right 3,
you'll basically be fucked.
100 left 4 opens,
Almost there. Don't choke, 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 don't choke. Okay, made it. So, that went surprisingly better than what I thought it was going to. But either way, I finished P2 in the stage behind Gilles Panizzi. And it is Marcus Gronholm who finishes third with Richard Burns fourth, and Petter Solberg in fifth, with Francois Delacour completing the top six. Then we had Francois Duval, Sebastian Loeb, Toshihiro Arai and Thomas Radstrom completing the top 10. And no further retirements to the two we've already had. One of the Skodas is out, and also one of the Peugeots is also out. So that does open the door for other contenders. Oh, correction. One of the Citroens and one of the Peugeots. And I'm going to save over my previous file because, well, that file is not something I want to remember. And now we can move on to day 2 and hope for better results. And so it is time for day 2, as we are now heading over to the service area, and surprisingly no body damage, in spite of all the rain I had to go through the previous day. I was really thinking for sure there was going to be more damage, but Thankfully there hasn't been. Anyway, let's try and get through these 3 stages. Trying again with stage 4.
2, 1.
And making sure we do this properly.
100 left, 2. 100 left.
Because I kind of have to if I'm going to win this.
100 right, 2.
And
left,
aside from
2,
the rain,
right,
I am also having to
right,
deal
2,
with fog.
into left, 3.
Which means that
150
this
left, 2, into right,
is probably going to be about as hard to see as it is to see on night stages.
70 right, 4 into left, 2,
Because I know
into
those
right,
are
4, don't cut.
enough of a pain in the ass
50 long left,
in and
5.
of themselves. As I pass the medical car, probably, with that siren.
70 right, 2 into left, 5.
I'm willing to assume that's what that is.
100 right, 4. 100 long hairpin left. 100 long
Well,
right, 4.
hopefully once we get back down the mountain again,
150 long
there should
right,
be a bit more visibility compared to before.
100 left, 3.
I could not see that bank,
4 into right, 5.
even if I
100
wanted
right,
to.
2.
I could not see it,
100 left, 3 opens.
and my finger slipped
100
off
right,
the throttle.
4 into left, 4. 70 long right, 4.
Okay, and currently P3.
150 long left, 4 into right, 4. 100 right, 4 into left, 2. 70 right, 3 into left, 2. 70 right,
Okay.
4 into left, 4. 50 right, 3.
Still doing pretty good at the moment, which is rather
100
surprising
left,
to me
2 into right, 3. 100
at this point of the
left,
stage.
3. 50 left, 2 into right, 4 opens. 70 left, 3 into right, 2. 70 left,
And
3.
oh, Richard Burns
left,
is
2
currently
into
P2.
right, 3. Don't cut. 100 left, 3.
Well, as long as it
into
keeps
right,
my car on the road,
4.
that's all I
left,
care
4
about.
and left, 4
And it
opens.
does not. Well, at least I had neutral when I needed it.
100
And
right,
it did not
3
spin
and
my car
right,
around.
4 tightens. 100 left, 3 into
Which is
right, 2.
another benefit I get.
100 right, 3.
But anyway. Oh, crap, okay.
50 left, 2 into right,
That
4.
could have been so much
70
worse.
left, 4. 100 right, 2 into left, 3.
And
100
finish.
right, 5 over crest.
Oh, not quite
70
finish.
right, 2 over crest.
And
into
drops me
left,
down to
1
5th.
and right, 2. 70 left, 5 tightens into left, 6. 100
Well.
right, 2.
If I can be in contention for the podium here, then
100 hairpin right.
I think I'll
70
probably
long
be Gucci
straight.
with that, from what I can see.
150 right, 4 into left, 1.
And
150
hard on the
left,
brakes.
100 left, 3.
And now, one corner to go. And there we go. P5. But I still finish ahead of Gronholm. Not bad. Not bad at all. And Petter Solberg also finished in the top 3 for that stage. And the 2 Skodas were just behind. Okay, so it looks like I'm either going to finish in 2nd or 3rd in this rally, or maybe even 4th, depending on how the 2 Peugeots do behind me. But anyway, so yeah, we're currently running good, after I made a few setup tweaks. As we begin with Ampasa Petreto. I think it's only a matter of time before our visibility drops after this stage.
3, 2, 1, go.
But hopefully, after this, we do not have to deal with any more rain.
150, right 2, tightens into right 4.
Because that is the one thing I do not want to deal
200
with
long
anymore
right
of,
3 opens.
since most of these stages so far have more or less had rain written all over them.
150 left 3. 150 left.
Especially since I am
right 2.
basically driving as the voiceover guy put
left
it.
2 into right 2.
A two-man guided missile made from steel and alloy.
100 left 3. 100
And
right 4.
I'm actually off to a good start with this
150 left
stage.
2. 150 right 4 over crest opens. 100 left 2 into right
Okay.
6 opens. 100
So
left
apparently
3 into
it
right
does
2.
help to have set up
150
tweaks
long
when you
left
need them.
3. 150
However,
right 6.
I still have to get past the
100
all
left
feared
3.
night stage after this.
150 right 3.
So even if I do
into
manage to
left
win the
2.
stage, it'll probably be short-lived,
150 hairpin
knowing
right.
me
70
and my
left
experience
3. 100 left 5.
with tackling these
100 right
sorts
4
of
into
issues.
left 4.
And the stage winner's gone because I just hit a tree.
100 long left 2 tightens into left
Well,
4.
hopes of winning a stage at this point
150
probably were
right
going to be
5
short-lived
into
anyway.
left 6 don't cut.
But I am hopeful in saying
100
that by the
hairpin
time we get to Greece, maybe even Kenya, I will be in
100
contention to
hairpin
win.
left caution post outside.
Because that is where
70 right 6.
I want to do it at the latest.
150 long left 2 and left 4.
Because then I can really begin to think about how I'm going to charge my way back.
70 right 2.
And lost a few seconds as a result of clipping that tree, but
100
either way,
left
I think the
1
contact was
into
minor,
left
so
4 over crest.
hopefully I can come back from
200
that
left
mistake.
4 over crest.
As long as I don't do that too many times, then I probably will.
100 right 1. 150 right 6.
My stage up to
opens
the,
into
my
long
pace up
right
to this
2.
point of the stage has actually been pretty good. And it has been better than what I was hoping for.
150 left 3
Once I made
into
those
right
set of
2
tweaks.
and left 2. 150 left
Well,
4 into
even if I
right
don't win the
3.
stage at this point, that's probably also
150
fine
long
because
left 3 tightens into left
I think at this point I'm more or less where I need to
100
be.
hairpin right don't cut
Which
rocks
is-
outside.
Basically towards the front.
100 hairpin left don't cut post outside. 100 hairpin
It's always
right,
the
don't
first
cut,
days
post inside.
that feel like the hardest tasks.
70 left 3.
Because you basically have to
100
survive
long
the first
straight
day
over crest.
and then figure out what
30 long straight over
it is you're going to
crest.
do for the rest of the stage. Well, I was leading this one early
150
on,
caution narrows.
but then eventually
Left 3 into right 2 and left 5.
I was basically
150
having
left
to think
2
about
into
this
right 3. 100 left
for
1.
what I was really wanting to do.
100
And
right
it
2,
looks like I'm going to
finish.
drop down further. Okay, I dropped down to 5th. Still, could be worse. I could be outside the top 10. Well, P5 is still reasonably good. However, I think because the night stage is next, that's where I will probably drop off the podium. And Francois Duval finished last in that stage. So we've got a real battle for the podium here. Possibly even a battle for 4th. If Solberg can manage to set the pace in the next one. But anyway, that's the way the rally looks. And now we've got to do the night stage.
3, 2, 1, clear, 2.
Well, I suppose if it's on tarmac, then it's
150
at least
left,
easier
3
to see
into
where I'm
right
going.
2, 100 right 2, tightens into right 4,
Hopefully.
100 left, 3 into
And then once I
right
get
3,
past this,
over
the
crest.
remaining stages will all be in the
100
daytime.
left, 1 into right 1, 50 over crest, 100 long right 4, 100 hairpin left,
Just kind of taking a conservative approach at the moment compared to
70
before
hairpin
because,
right,
well,
don't cut,
my visibility is lower and
70 hairpin left, caution rocks outside,
I cannot
100
see as
long
much
right 4,
as I do in the
tightens.
daytime.
150 left 2, 100 right 6 opens into
Okay.
right 2, 100
Well, my pace
right
is
4,
pretty good so far.
100
I
left
have not
5 into
dropped
right
any
3,
seconds yet.
100 left 3, 150 left 6,
So maybe getting through the rest of this with
into left 2,
both of my arms and legs still intact is possible.
100 right 4 over crest, 150 right 4 opens
Even though I am
into
still going to have
right
to be
2,
cautious here because, well, visibility is lower.
150
than it is in the
left
daytime.
5 into right 4, 150 left 1,
Still, I was surprised
100
to
left 6,
be this close to
70
the leaders
right
early
3
on.
opens into long right 2,
I think Marcus probably is going to pass me at some point
150
once
left
the
5,
stage really goes on, but
70 hairpin right,
I feel
caution
like
over
because I'm
crest,
just taking a relatively gentle and conservative pace
100 hairpin
compared
left,
to what I would
caution over
normally do,
crest,
I think that might actually be helping
70
me here.
right 6 over crest, 100
Because I'm
left
still
5 over crest,
because I'm still relatively
100
quick,
right 4 opens
and at the same
into
time,
right 3,
I'm not
150
dropping in the
right
mistakes
5
corner by
into
corner.
left 4, 150
I'm just
right
conservatively working my way through these mountain
4,
roads
100 right 4,
and just making sure that my car holds
70
together,
hairpin left.
basically. And that's all.
100 right 2,
But anyway,
100 right 3 into left
Okay.
2, 100 right 3,
what could I be doing this time?
150 left 6, 100
We'll wait and
right
see.
3 tightens, 100 left 2 over crest
Oh,
into
it's a
right
little
3,
bit deep there, but
150 left 1 tightens
I'm okay at
into
this
left
point.
6,
my car is still holding itself together, so... And now I'm dead. Yeah, my car was stuck. I had to reset.
150 long right 2,
I think until I overshot that corner, I had a really good run going, and then suddenly
150 left
it was just that one corner that basically threw it away for me.
3 into left
But again, my car was practically beached,
100 right 5,
and there was no way I was going to get it moving while basically my front, while basically the under tray was literally just hanging on a bank, with basically no feel from the wheels.
right 3,
I basically had to reset my car there, or else I was just going to be stranded. I was basically just going to be about as stationary as a lamppost.
200 over crest into long right 3,
Had I not reset the car. That was a very
150
necessary
left,
reset.
3, finish.
Might have even costed me the podium, but you know what? I don't care. I'm not letting my car be stuck in the middle of the stage. Point and case. Right, 13th. And we've had another retirement. Toshihiro Arai in the Subaru. And Gronholm won the stage, so basically that means I've now been relegated to 4th. Although at the very least Solberg didn't have a good stage, so I'm not going to be relegated to 5th. Yeah, had it not been for that penalty, I think, in all honesty, the best I could probably hope for was 6th. So I dropped down to 4th. So Gronholm has basically outpaced me, even though that is a stage I probably should have won. And I know that's not going to be the only time that happens, but you know what? Points are points. I know Gronholm is going to pull away through some of these rallies, and I'm going to have to wait until we get to the halfway point of the season before I can really mount a comeback. So 1 Citroen, 1 Subaru, and 1 Peugeot are the casualties from Corsica so far. And now I am going to save the game and give myself a break before getting on with day 3. On now to my break, and then I'll be back. Time now for day 3 of Rallye de France. And once again, like we have been before, we are heading to the service area. And what damage have I got this time? Same as before, brakes and tyres. I don't think I really need to change anything on my setup. I basically have everything I need, and also the rest of the day, compared to our 2 previous days, they're going to be relatively dry. So I think we should be okay with this. As we begin with Radicale and Osana, is it? I don't know. Some pronunciations are harder than others. I do try my best to not sound offensive when I make these impressions or word impressions, in case if anyone gets the wrong impression.
100 long straight, 200 long hairpin left.
Okay. Well, at least I'm still in the points. Still, that 9th stage actually went really well until my car got beached, and I basically had no other choice but to simply reset the car. And because I cannot restart stages in this game, probably wouldn't have surprised me too much if something like that was not going to somehow pop up in the plot twists of how I think this Expert Championship is going to go down altogether. Because inevitably, like with every championship tale, there always is going to be plot twists in between. And you never just know when you can either benefit from someone else's misfortune, or if you can malefit from someone's misfortune. It can just as easily go either way. Because as always,
opens.
you know that Lady
100
Chaos
right 4.
is always going to basically
100 left
throw up
4
something
opens.
in the
100
mixer
right 5 into left 5.
that will most likely count as a plot
100
twist.
long right 3 into
And
left
this stage
2.
is actually going really well for me at the moment. Just have to make sure I stay off the walls and then we should be fine.
Right 5 over crest. 100 right 3.
Still, I'm having a really good run at the
100
moment.
left 1 into
And I don't think that
right
can be
3.
understated
150
either.
long left 5.
Or at least I was before that happened.
150 hairpin right.
Well, doesn't matter if I win or lose.
100
I'm probably
left
gonna
5
be
into right 5.
in the top
100
4
left
either way.
3. 50
And yep,
left
that
2
was definitely the
into
moment
long
that
right
cost
4.
me.
100 long left 4.
Well, I'm gonna go
100 left 4
probably
into right 4
another rally
opens.
without a stage win, but
70
fine,
left 4 into
because my
right
stage
2.
times are still
100
pretty
left
decent.
3. 70
It's always hard
left
to
4 into
navigate
right 3.
those
100
village
right
sections.
4 into left
You
2.
really have got to be on it
100 left 3 into
if you're
right 2.
gonna bolt your way through there.
100
And you have got to
left
make
4
sure that
into
you
right 5
stay out
opens.
of the
150
walls
long
as well as the
straight
houses.
finish.
And how far off am I gonna be? 3 seconds. At least I finished ahead of Gronholm though. I think that does put me back up onto the podium if I'm not mistaken. Depending on where Richard Burns finished. Okay, so we had 2 Peugeots, 1 Mitsubishi, 1 Subaru, and 1 Citroen in the top 6 for stage 7. Oh, Burns finished 9th. He must have had a really bad stage. And yep, I am correct, that does elevate me back up to the podium. However, there is no chance of me catching Gronholm. And, well, Gilles Panizzi at this point, he's pretty much in the class of his own. So it looks as though 3rd is probably the best I can hope for. Unless I make any more last minute errors. So that's the way your top 6 looks. Looks as though the other Francois Delacour, is going to get some points on the board. Providing everything stays the way Mitsubishi wants it to go. Alright, penultimate stage of Rally Corsica. Hopefully this will go well.
3, 2, 1.
But we'll wait and see.
Left 2 into right 2. 50
I do have a good
left 2.
handling car at least, so I know that for sure.
150 right.
I think I am going to drop another 2 points to Marcus, but I think at this stage of the game, as long as I can keep finishing in the points for most of these rallies, then I have got a good shot of coming away with potentially a podium here, as long as I can keep the mistakes to a minimum. Also, doesn't Corsica have a super special? I'm not sure if it does or doesn't. Of course, it's been weeks prior to the Expert Championship since I played this game, so I don't really remember which rallies have super specials and which ones don't. I guess we'll just have to find out as we go further and further along. But I know there are super specials involved, because I did them before in the 2 previous championships.
70 right 3 into left 3 over crest 100 left 6 over crest into right 2.
Also, something else I noticed is we are basically in the shadow of the mountain with this.
70 left 4 into right 4 70 left.
And this is a long section. Took me nearly a minute and a half to set the first sector split.
150 left.
That is a
6.
long ass section.
70 right 2. 100
Probably braked
right
a little
5
too soon
over
there.
crest into left
Oh, at least I
5.
can actually see the road now.
100 right 6 opens, don't
With
cut,
clear vision.
inside.
Okay.
100 left 3 into right 2.
I don't remember if it's Corsica that has the super special or if it's Spain that has the super special. I think it's Spain if I... Damn it. It was going so well.
150 left
Until
5
that.
into right 3.
God damn it.
100 hairpin left. 100
This game
right
just
4
never
into left
lets me
2
have
and right 3
not even a
tight.
single moment to gloat.
100 left 2
I think all of
into
us
right 4.
deserve at least one moment
150
to gloat in our
over crest
lives
into left 6
about
and
whether or not
right
we're
5.
actually having good runs or something.
150
and then suddenly
left
that
5
happens.
into right 2. 150 right 3.
Well, I didn't think I was going to win the stage, but
150
I think,
left 4 into
at the very
right
least,
3. 100
I definitely
left
would have been
over
second
crest,
before
caution, don't
that.
cut, 100
But right now,
5.
I don't really know.
70 left 2.
Well, at least I'm
70
keeping
right
behind
1
Gilles,
into left
and
2.
Richard Burns is right behind me.
200 right
However,
4.
if I can manage to
100
put up
left 6,
probably an
caution,
8-second
over
gap heading into the final stage ahead of him, I was 4 seconds clear of him heading into the stage, so I think our battle for the podium has definitely been... I was not concentrating on the road there. I really could not see where my car was, where or what my car was doing. I was very much blind to the public eye because of the shadows. Well, at least we're actually almost out of the shadows now, so maybe I can actually see a bit more of the road now compared to before. Even though I am hitting the speed limiter. Okay.
150 right 4, don't cut into left 6, 70 right 1.
Come on. Okay.
70 right
Minor
4
damage
into
on
left
the
2,
left hand.
100 right
Sorry.
3 and right 2
Got some
into
minor
left
damage there on the
3,
left
100
tail light,
right 2
but
into left
I think I should be
1
okay
over crest,
because
150
it's only
right
cosmetic
2
damage
over
compared to
crest
everything
into
else,
left 1,
and
70 right 6,
okay, I am still ahead
100 long
of...
left 5,
I am still ahead
100
of
right 4
Burnsy.
into left 3,
That's pretty much my main target at this
150
point.
left 5 into right
I doubt I'm
4,
catching Gronholm, because I think he's a little bit too far ahead for me to mount any serious challenges unless he retires,
150 right 4
which is
into
not
long
completely
left
out of
4.
the question. I mean, in the Pro Championship, Gronholm had plenty of retirements by the end of it, and that was ultimately what
150 right 2
relegated
into
him
left
from
2 over crest,
second to third in the
150
Pro
right
Driver
6,
standings.
don't cut. 100 hairpin left over crest into
Well,
right 2,
I won't be catching Gilles,
100 left
but at least I will be able to stay ahead
100 left 2 tightens
of my nearest
into
rival,
left
Richard
4
Burns.
into right 3, 150
Because even in spite of my
left
mistakes,
4
I have been
into
able
right 4.
to build up a sizable gap
150 right 3 into left 4,
that really has shown basically what true metal I have with my focus. Okay,
100 left 2 into right 5.
how much further is the center
100
split?
left 3 into very long right 3
Okay.
tightens.
And, well, at least I'm staying close to Benizzi at this point.
150 left 4 into right 2. 100 left
I'm not exactly
4
passing
into
him,
right
but
5 and left
I'm basically
3, 150
just
right
hanging
2
back and
into
keeping him
left
honest.
3 and right 1.
However, Gronholm is still in the running order, so I don't think I'm going to pass him for second in the rally. So I think it's probably going to be another bronze for this one. However, points are still points, and as long as I can continue scoring points for now, then I should be in a good position by the time, well, I was before that happened. It's just so easy to literally get your car just pinned to the wall. Regardless of how hard you try not to do it, the game just always finds a way to basically catch you off guard, and then, gone, you're in the wall. Well, another stage I could have won, but I made too many mistakes. Well, the outcome doesn't matter either way. Although Gronholm did finish 16.6 seconds behind me, so... Wait, doesn't that technically promote me up to second? We'll have to check through the standings to be sure. Let's have a look. And we've had our 4th retirement, Stig Blomqvist. Oh well. It does promote me to second in the rally standings. Which means... I think I am actually going... let me think. If I stay in second, then I am only going to be 2 points behind Gronholm in the standings. So that's the way things are looking heading into the final stage. And Sebastian Loeb is not far from scoring points. Would be quite something if he could score another point in that Citroen. Yeah, now I remember. It is Spain. Okay. Either way, it's another daytime stage. And even though we are doing this in the mountains, we're at least doing this in the clear mountains. And I have lost one headlight as well as one taillight. Probably not too surprising at this stage of the rally, to be perfectly honest. I mean, my speed has been good regardless, but I still think at this point that as long as I don't make too many mistakes, it's hard to imagine me losing a podium at this stage. And just like that, I have dropped down to last. 17th. Well, I figured the game wasn't gonna let me waltz away with the podium without throwing me one last plot twist. I think that's pretty much the nature of the game. And this stage is not going very well in any way at the moment. Well, I was running good until that happened. I'm probably going to end up saying that a lot more before we get to the halfway point, because there are just so many could have, would have, should haves. That could have been a lot worse. I think I might drop down to 4th now, depending on whoever's leading the stage. I'm certainly dropping down to 3rd now, because of those mistakes, but depends on knowing if I'm going to drop down to 4th. I mean, I'm pretty much guaranteed at this point to finish in 4th, regardless of how much this run totally stinks. Which is basically what's happening now, because it stinks like fuck at the moment. 150 left, 3 into right 2, 150 because of left, 3 how poor my execution has been. Left, 3 into right 2, and finish. Shit! Yep, I have definitely lost the podium now, I think. Well, that sucked. I just wonder where that puts me in terms of the... And yep, just as I would have figured, second was too good to be true. So Gronholm wins the final stage over Gilles Panizzi and Francois Delacour. Am I going to finish in third or fourth? I think I'll finish in fourth because the gap was still relatively tight. Just depends on knowing if it's still enough to hold on. It's not. You know what? It was probably going to happen sooner or later. Do I feel like I could have done better? Yeah, I probably could have done, but at this point, I don't really care. I still get 3 points. I was probably guaranteed to finish fourth, either way. So you know what? Because I really can't do anything about what the stages are going to do to me, at this point I just might as well accept the L and just move on to the next one. I think Spain should hopefully be more up my street anyway. So P4 in Corsica. Marcus is going to add another 3 points to his points lead. I don't think that's going to drop me down to third, but either way, those are your point scorers, and Sebastian Loeb was just outside the top 6. 4 retirements, 1 Citroen, 1 Skoda, 1 Subaru, and 1 Peugeot. Probably spent a little too much time summarising that, but whatever. Corsica is done, so no cheat codes because I finished 4th. However, I still managed to get the points for Ford, and Peugeot have very much just rocketed away from everyone else in the point standings now, because they finished 2nd and 3rd. Oh, I'm now tied with Panizzi for the lead. Sorry, tied with Panizzi for 2nd. Well, as much as I was really hoping it would not be a Peugeot sweep on the podium, at least it wasn't a Peugeot sweep of the top 4. And 11 drivers have now scored points, as both Mitsubishi drivers now have points on the board. I'm now a joint 2nd with Gilles Panizzi. And I am strongly hoping that by the time we get to Greece, that I will be able to start fighting back. But anyway, those are your points, and now let's move on to Spain.